Just wanted to point out that on this rock right here, you can find a heart scale, and I did pick it up earlier, so yeah, there we go. Anyways, hey everybody, I'm the Crimson Scythe. Welcome back to more Let's Play Pokemon Emerald. In the last part, we had a bit of issues. Technical issues, I mean. In this part, we are going to be going through the route that is left of Marvel City, which is to the west. So, yeah. Let's heal up real quick, because I don't have any paralysis heals. I'm hoping that I don't get any errors today. I think the reason why I did is because I had very little to no space or storage space in my PC, and yeah, that would have been a big problem. Anyways, we go on to Route 117. We've got a few new Pokemon to talk about. Oh, Volbeat. Okay, this Pokemon is absolutely terrible. It has no good, moves. It can learn, Tail Glow for some reason, even though it's a terrible user of it. Has a low special attack stat, and has mediocre stats all around, and its abilities are just plain annoying, especially Illuminate. Illuminate makes it so that you encounter Pokemon much, easier. I had Illuminate on my Cosmos on Starmie. That was annoying. Volbeat has a terrible stat pool, a terrible type, and just terrible abilities. Not even worth it. Illumise is actually much better than Volbeat. Way better than Volbeat, considering the fact that its abilities are not hot garbage. Oblivious prevents attraction, which is always good to have if you ever run into that kind of thing. And Tinted Lens basically powers up not very effective moves, which can actually be very useful in some situations. Okay, no it isn't. I lied. When are you ever going to use a not very effective move in a battle with an Illumise? And yes, that's how you pronounce his name, Illumise. It's not Illumise, it's Illumise. I've always pronounced it Illumise when I was a kid. It's not, no it's not. It's Illumise. Because I learned that the hard way. But yeah, mediocre stats like Volbeat. It's got better abilities than Volbeat. Got similar, I think it's got the same moveset as well, or a similar moveset as well to Volbeat, so it does learn Signal Beam as well, and it can learn some other, moves as well. It learns Tail Glow, I think, as well. I could be wrong about that one. I'll have to look that up, but, it is what it is. Oh, and the thing with Volbeat and Illumise is that one is always male and one is always female, and you'll see which one's always male, which one's always female in my bios. And if Illumise's bio looks scuffed, it's because Tinted Lens took up so much space that I had to stretch out the abilities chart for that, just to fill that in. It was so weird. Roselia. Pokemon that should not have been introduced in this generation, yet was, and was given one of the better evolutions in the next generation. My only question is, why did they introduce Roselia in this generation and not introduce it in Gen 4, where it not only got an evolution, but also a baby form as well? I think Roselia would have been better off being introduced in Gen 4, I think. You always forget that Roselia was never introduced in Gen 4 and it was only introduced in Gen 3, because no one used Roselia in this game. At least I didn't. I don't think anyone else did. If you did, why? Okay, I say why. It has 100 special attack stat. That's pretty good for a base form Pokemon, but everything else isn't that good. Its speed stat, okay. Its defense stat, I mean, special defense is good, but regular defense, no. Attack stat, okay, pretty okay for a grass type, especially one like Roselia. As HP stat is terrible. However, what I will say, his abilities are also really good. Natural Cure is pretty, solid. And Poison Point, I mean, we all know what Poison Point is. I mean, we've all, handled Weedle in our time. Saying that, it's actually, it's never had Poison Point, even though we all believe it did. But yeah, I think Roselia is okay. I just don't think it's good enough in this generation. You can see up there that there's grass up above, like where the daycare is. That little building that we just saw in the route is a daycare. There's no way to get into that patch of grass, I don't think. And I could be completely wrong, but whatever. Mach Punch, and then let's go Headbutt. Okay, nice. I have to make sure every now and again that my game doesn't crash. You went for Arm Thrust on Shroomier, not Ironhide. That is a really stupid... And you got hit with Effect Spore. Oh my gosh. So Effect Spore just poisoned you. You have Guts, though. That can be a problem. I'm just gonna go for Headbutt on you, because that is... Hey... Why wouldn't you go for, like, Ironhide on that one? Register... SR and J... What? Senior and Junior. Oh, that's... Really? They didn't look... I thought they were sisters. Oh well. Let's swap Ironhide out to the front. I want to give him some levels. In the middle of a triathlon. Whatever, let's have a battle. We're in the middle of a triathlon, you're going back and forth, you're not... What? What kind of triathlon are you doing? No duo. Ooh, okay. Can't catch you, like, yeah, I won't be able to for a while. Also, if I pause, like, during, like, sentences, I have some, ready salted, Pringles next to me, so, yeah. I should get a drink, but I'm not gonna bother. And Triathlete Dylan. I know a guy named Dylan. He was also a sporty person. Terrible person, though, he was. He was a terrible person. You know what's funny, right? Because this happened in secondary school, and I'm fine with talking about this. I don't know. The guy's in England now. I mean, he ain't anywhere near down here. Okay, he had this habit, right? Because every week, or like not even a week, like a couple of days, he'd have a new girlfriend or like partner with him, and it was like, and in my friend group, we were all like making bets on like when the next, like, when he'd get like a next girlfriend or a new girlfriend, because he had like 60 girlfriends in like 3 months, and it was so fucking weird. Like, guys like that I just cannot stand. But it's funny that he was and thing is though, it's like, and he was the guy who joined late into our friend group, because it was in year 8, so I was like 14 or 13, right? We were in year 8. Oh no, wait, was it? No, yeah, 13, 14. In year 8, this is when we met him, right? Now my friend group by the time was just like, this was kind of a thing, like we were already like, there was about 6 of us, I think, or was it? No, it was 7 of us, and he joined late. No, he was the 8th in our group, right? And we welcomed him, open arms and all. We were like, join us, Yeah, and the thing is, back then it was like that kind of friend group was like, very immature at the time, and I wasn't like that. I was the one who was like more trying to be more mature, like, and try to like keep everyone out of trouble and like whatnot. Try to be the voice of reason, if you will. I was very much like that. And then he comes along, and he was kind of causing trouble within our group, and he was kind of like causing fights to happen between members of the group. And I took him aside. I was like, "Look, you gotta stop. Like, come on, like." If you want to be a part of this group, you gotta stop like making up stuff. And he was making up stuff. He was making up a lot of lies. The thing is, he didn't listen, so we kind of having it was like, which sucks because we kept him around until the last year of secondary school, before we went to college, because and the reason we did that was because his last friend group he was in treated him poorly. Like, they would constantly bully him and use him as like the butt of the joke, if you will. Which we didn't do that. We wanted him to be treated fairly, so. And I wanted to make that apparent. I was like, look, guys, treat him fairly. He's new here. He's had a rough time with his old friend group. We need to treat him like fairly. And we did try our best. And sometimes we did make him, we did make jokes, but we always make jokes when it was like friendly banter, if you will, between us, or nothing like insulting or like humiliating, but friendly banter, if you will. Which that sounds like a healthy friendship group, but it's not, because a lot of the time, and the problem I had with this guy was because it wasn't just him making trouble; it was all of them. Like, they were all making trouble in some way or not, or another. I mean, which sucks, but it is what it is. I'm gonna battle these guys. Okay. But yeah, back to Pokemon. Jesus Christ, put some fucking clothes on, Jesus. Fucking parading around like that. It's fucking awful. Oh. Oh, God. There could be children about. Have you no shame? Gosh. But anyways, what's actually kind of funny, right? About Pokemon, and specifically Gen 3, because I feel like I don't tell enough stories. I thought you were a trainer for some reason, I don't know why. The funny thing about Gen 3 in itself, I have mentioned that the first time I ever played it was back in ORAS, or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That's the first time I ever played it, and great games. Though I don't particularly like the art style. Like, I get it was during the era when 3D Pokemon was still like new. But they did pretty good for what they had, which I will not be, it was a good remake of the games, and I'm glad they remade the games. Let's go Rock Tomb, and then let's go Headbutt. But yeah, the first time I played Gen 3 was in, God, when was it? I think it was when Omega Ruby came out. But I remember, for some reason, I don't know why, I left this route out of the way, because back then I didn't go into 100% the game or anything like that. I didn't want to care for exploring all the areas. I kind of just wanted to do the main story, and that was it. Because this route is kind of an optional route. You don't have to do this route. I'm gonna go up here and grab this though. I still can't believe I have a shiny Zigzag. But yeah, ooh, Illumise. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know, I just think this route here was, considering it was optional, I didn't want to take it on. And the reason, because that's the thing, is like I never did anything optional back, like when I played any game at all, like side quests and stuff. I didn't do those, which now thinking about it, should have done so. I should have done more side quests back in the day because I realize now how important they are. The thing is, I realized that years ago. A revive, that could be very useful. Yeah, I realized that quite a ways back in the day, and it was like that was like freaking like even like early Pokemon like games that I played, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum, Black and White. You know, back then, because that's when I first started playing Pokemon. Was like in that era of Pokemon, which a lot of people would say is the golden age of Pokemon, which I can definitely agree with. It was the best games that they ever released. Between the year 2000 and like say 2014 was like when they made some of the best games. Although saying that Sun and Moon and X and Y were good games as well, I will say. You know, nothing against Gen 8 or Gen 9 either. It was merely, you know, those games are fine. Gen 8 was good to an extent. Like, there was some things I didn't really care for the story that much, if there was even one. I know there was one, but like it was so boring. And then Gen 9, the story was like were good, but the the game was not well made. It was so much of nothing in the actual world of Paldea, and the problem I have with Paldea is that it's so, even though it's so open, there's a whole lot of nothing to it. A lot of the places, especially in the early areas, have just nothing. It's just plains and like, you know, some mountains, some, you know, like it didn't feel like feel like it was filled enough with anything. You know, you had the odd tree now and again, but like, and the thing is, most of the areas I enjoyed going around were that forest with all like the paint on it, like in like all the paint and like where you can like catch Grafaiai, the snowy mountain, with the Frigibacks that you can catch. That's like, you know, the Frigibacks terrestrialized, you know what I mean. And then that like not bamboo, like yeah, the bamboo forest where you can find like Slacking and like Bishop and all that. And then you have that area with all the what are they called, fortress in, you know, and those areas were good, but it's just the red and like that large like kind of like lake that have all like the Gyarados and like the Slowpokes and all that, and where you find like the Dondozo, I think, yeah, those areas were good, but I don't know, the rest just felt boring, I think. And like the whole area seemed quite small to me. Like, if we look at Paldea, like look how quick you can get to other towns. Like, yeah, other towns in Pokemon games like this do, or at least are a little bit, you know, close together, but they're not that close, you know. But maybe that's because you have to ride Koraidon or Miraidon on the games. I don't know. I think the region's a bit too small for my liking. I much prefer like the size of the regions, like, you know, in Hoenn, Sinnoh, or Unova. Adrenaline Mud Sport, no. No, that's no. No item there. Okay, that's fine. You get an item, it's a great ball. Huh, okay. I could have sworn there was a TM. Not a repel. Okay, nice. Okay, nothing. Nothing there. Well, you are a trainer. Yeah. No, I don't think Paldea is as good of a region as the others. I think Paldea is the most boring region. There was no like volcanic areas in the game, which sucked. Because every region has a volcano area, which kind of surprised me why they didn't have that. There wasn't really any interesting areas, like anything that was like wow inspiring or like kind of the bamboo forest was the only one, and like that the forest with like the freaking what's it called the paint on it was the only ones I thought were like really good. Gosh. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do, I've kind of ranted on a little bit too much here. I'm going to end things off right here. In the middle of the battle, yes. So, what I will do is I'll battle this lady off screen. I'll see you guys in the next part. See you guys then.